Alright folks, Gary here with Schroeder Ranch. I'm doing some fall harvesting. This is the first day of October 2023 and we're getting carrots out of the ground. We've already probably harvested, I don't know, 20, 25 carrots, but we are at a point where we need to get the rest of them out of the ground, and I'll have to get a little shovel to get some of these other ones, but as you can see, a lot of these are just, you just kind of pull them out of the ground. And one of the things we've noticed is the longer we keep them in, they actually taste a little better for us. So sometimes you get little fellas like this and sometimes you get bigger ones. I'm going to kind of move over here and see what else I can get by hand, and then I get the shovel to get the others. And so our dirt here has been pretty rough and hard, so that's something we'll be working on over the winter, kind of cover crops and maybe adding a few amendments. Oh, little fat guy there. Just a few more. Nice size with that one. We do like our carrots. This is our third year, I guess, growing them. Might be the best year yet so far, but still more to learn, especially when you get a little carrot like that. I don't know who's gonna eat that, but they come in all shapes and sizes here. And one thing we do to try to help the soil out beyond cover crops, because we're still learning how to do that, is just to make sure that there's no bare soil, and we're still learning the best way to do this, but effectively right now we're just using hay or straw to kind of put some cover on there, effectively like acting as if this is the residue. What residue is if you imagine you had a big field of this and this is all corn, and you came in with your combine and harvested all of that corn, well, there's still going to be a bunch of cut up parts of that corn stalk all over the ground. That's residue. So if you just leave that on, let that kind of protect the soil, it's going to be better off than having no protection. It's not as good as a cover crop that has a living root inside, but it'll help you a little bit, help retain moisture, help it stay cool for all the organic material or critters in the soil. You know, they don't like, just like you and I don't like being baked out in the sun all day. They don't like super hot, dry as well. So we'll use something like this to help cover it up, and that's what we're doing until we get a little cover crop planted in here.
All right, so we're just grabbing a variety of our tomatoes. We've got our bigger Roma tomatoes, some of our Bumblebee Sunrise tomatoes, and these are our traditional little cherry tomatoes. And we'll be turning these into a variety of freeze drying them just as slices, making salsa, making Italian sauce. So we're just gathering all these up. The weather's gonna start turning soon, so we wanna get as many as we can. We have lots of green that we'll probably have to grab before our first frost, but we're just gonna try to get all our red ones right now. Alright, we've got some green beans being harvested. Our green beans did awesome this year. Autumn's picking up all these. You want to show me some of your green beans, Autumn?
Big green beans.
Nice. You got some right above your head too. You want to grab those? Oh, very nice. So with the green beans, mainly what we've been doing is just snapping them, the ends off. We snap them into a couple pieces, and we will put them in vacuum sealed bags for the freezer. That's been our easiest way to store our green beans. And then another thing we like to do for cooking them, we leave them whole, and we like to batter them with an egg wash and then put them in some cheese and seasoning, and we bake them, and those are really delicious. Hudson's here picking some of our raspberries. Can you show me one of those? Nice. Are the raspberries delicious? Yes, we've only had about one of our raspberry plants really produce, so we're hoping next year we'll get more. Yeah, that's awesome. Hudson's been collecting these and freezing them, so we get to enjoy them throughout the winter months. We'll have our fresh frozen raspberries. We have a nice giant watermelon growing out of our compost. This happens every year. We throw some of our excess plants or seed in the compost and something comes out of it. So we've got our compost bins here. The one on the left is more of our bigger, chunkier stuff. And then this one over here on the right is kind of our finer things, although there's a few chunkier things in there. But that's what I'm probably going to give a stir, and then we'll put this on some of the beds that we clear out, and then we'll cover that with hay as well. Hopefully that'll help amend the soil, add in some more nutrients, make it good for next year. Hey buddy.
Hey. Big watermelon.
Now watermelon was Hudson's crop this year, so that must have been one of our extra plants we threw in there, or we threw some seed in. Somehow this is the biggest watermelon we have, which is really cool. I planted quite a few of these basil plants because I use basil all year round for spaghetti, for pizza. I use it for a lot of different seasonings on my sweet potatoes. So I grew quite a few of these plants, and apparently basil works really well in between tomatoes. But the problem with this is that these tomatoes grew so tall, they actually shaded my basil, so it didn't produce that well. And some got completely squished. You can see there's a basil plant here. It got eaten, it got crowded out. These tomatoes completely took over. So we'll have to come up with a different strategy next year for basil because I really like having it. So I come in here and I look for kind of a bushel. Usually I have scissors, but a knife works. And I'm just cutting off chunks of the basil. And I have been just hang drying these or laying them on racks to dry. And then once they're dried, I'll put them into jars or Ziploc bags, or even do the vacuum seal bags. Those work really well. And then I use the basil all the time, so I don't have to buy my basil. Another really yummy thing to do with the fresh basil is to add it to these cherry tomatoes and throw some balsamic vinegar and some oil and make a salad. That's really delicious.
We got peppers here. Some of them are really good size. We're going to try to take the biggest ones right now, of course, but we also know that a freeze could be coming at any time here in Colorado, and so we're mindful of that sometimes you have to take them when they're a little smaller than your preference might be, but that's okay. So we're just getting the big ones. All kinds of peppers that we have here, but just a general, what would you call it, smorgasbord of harvesting. Now there's several kind of medium-sized ones in here. I'm gonna leave for another week, but some of these are still good size that we can add to our harvest for the day.
Because we're towards the end of the season, this is Autumn's bed. She planted some parsley, so she's gonna harvest some of this and probably hang it to dry. And you can do it in big bunches if you want. She and Hudson also planted lots of beautiful flowers. It's good for the bees. We've got bees in there right now, good for pollinating. So her parsley did great. She also started some lavender, right, Autumn? It's on the other side of the flowers. But that'll probably be better and stronger next year. And then she's got some carrots she'll harvest kind of throughout those flowers.
Little baby one with this big ugly mom.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, as long as it's not purple on top, it's ready to go.
I love purple on top.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, we're gonna see how our potatoes are doing. This is always our best dirt. So
I'll get potatoes with you.
try not to stab them, but I just like to see if any come up. This is a little bit of a test. go under without hitting my sprinkler.
Let's see if I can see anything. Oh, this dirt is nice and rich. Oh,
There's one.
there's a pile.
Yeah, this is always our best dirt for sure. I let go a lot.
Oh,
Oh, stabbed him.
again. I think it might have been better than our other potato hill.
These little ones. So many worms.
And so much rich dirt. Hot potato, potato, hot potato, hot potato. We can play hot potato for days.
Okay, we'll cover all that up here as well. There you go, Autumn.
Yeah. It's kind of funky. Looks like it has a little bubbles. Got one.
Probably messing up these worms. Probably messing up the worm world too much.
Oh, potato, deploy potato-inator.